Yo, what's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Hope your week is going well. Yesterday was okay. My bets, if you just scroll through the show and just tally up wins and losses from my picks on the show, I went either 8-4 or 7-4-1, depending on what you got the Nuggets line at. So overall, it was good. I still somehow finished the night down a few dollars because I went way too heavy on the Jazz. And then I put this stupid Knicks parlay down. So I ended up losing a few dollars last night, despite my picks being 8-4 somehow. That's 8-4 somehow losing money. Great. But no, it was like pretty much a break even. It was a few dollars. Hope you all are having a good week. Dylan Reynolds in the comments. He said, Kyle, peep the icon. It's all love. Not really a Butler fan, but I had to. He put his icon as Butler. That was not my pick. I was like, I just put that up there. I was like, I guess I'm tailing everybody. I don't know anything about Georgetown, man. What was it, me? I like South Carolina, and I liked Oklahoma. South Carolina and Oklahoma. So those are the two college ones I like.
Yeah, Kyle has a cousin that goes to South Carolina.
I do.
Yeah.
I have 3 or 4 cousins that go there.
Mm-hmm. Is Pat Ewing still at Georgetown? That's the only thing I know about.
No, it's I think the new coach is named Perry. I think it's Perry. What's his name?
I thought it was Tim Hubert.
He said it. I don't know what he said. Anyway,
like John Thompson the fourth.
We're starting off with a heater here. Hornets, Pistons. I know Shipley's really up for this one. He's looking at this as a winnable game for his Detroit Pistons. So let's get it up. The Pistons laying 3. In case you didn't know, Detroit Pistons 0-3 against the spread as favorites this year. Not an enticing trend to lay 3 points. Prop Beaver, do you have anything here?
Yeah, I'm laying those 3 points with the Pistons today.
Wow.
Even if Cade Cunningham sits, I would probably recommend waiting for the news on Cade Cunningham. But a little trend, because you mentioned your trend about them being 0-3 as a favorite this year. In at least game 30 of a season, when a team is below 150 in terms of win percentage and they're favored, they are 8-1 against the spread. So at this point in the season, losing team like that, a horrendous team at best, is favored. They're 8-1 against the spread in their last 9 opportunities. So I think that's a nice spot there. And then you got the Hornets coming off a massive upset win over the T-Wolves. You got the Pistons coming off 3 straight home losses to the T-Wolves and Bucks twice. And in all 3 of those games, they were incredibly competitive. I mean, even without Cade Cunningham, who may or may not be playing tonight, this Hornets team has sucked lately. 2-7 against the spread their last 9 games. 5-13 against the spread their last 18 on the road. 1-7 against the spread their last 8 against the East. And you got the Pistons, who have been absolute wagons lately. This team's 10-4 against the spread their last 14
5-0 in the last 5.
Exactly. 6-0 against the spread their last 6 against the East. 6-2 against the spread their last 8 at home. And the Pistons have played well against Hornets in the past. 4-2 straight up and against the spread in their last 6 matchups. There's a couple matchups here that I like working for them as well. I just ultimately think that this is the better team at this point in time. Terry Rozier is going to hurt a bit. You got LaMelo chucking it around. The spacing is going to be a bit off. I'm going to take the Pistons, and I'm going to lay it.
Prop Beaver, I think. By the way, Prop Beaver did acknowledge the Aaron Gordon bet on Twitter, but I think they would like.
Yeah, I always acknowledge my losses. Yeah, Chiefs. If you climbed with me, we went like this, and then we never went.
He was
we
here
never went any further.
He was here doing graphics last night, and he was just sitting over there on the other side of the room with his headphones on doing graphics. And I was like, "Yo, bro, Aaron Gordon's got 0 rebounds in the second quarter," and he was like, "This, I know." They're so sad.
Crying.
Yeah, borderline to put it
like,
nicely.
I know.
I hope Aaron Gordon fucking chokes on a chicken wing tonight. Fuck that guy.
All right, Matt, you want to go next?
Yeah, I've never heard someone call the Pistons wagons before until like Chauncey Billups played there. So that was definitely something. Yeah, I got a prop. I'm taking LaMelo Ball 30 plus points. Last I checked, you can get it at plus 110 at FanDuel. People are going to see 30 plus and think it's a high number because he hasn't scored that yet since he came back from injury. Keep in mind, no Terry Rozier on this team anymore. He, as everybody knows, was traded to the Heat. Without Rozier, with him off the court, LaMelo Ball's usage rate goes up to 35.26%. Only Embiid and Luka have higher usage rates than that number. And for context, Giannis is the 3rd highest, all the way down to 32.3. So it's like a pretty big gap between Embiid, Luka, and now LaMelo without Terry Rozier. And you also have to remember what LaMelo did before he got hurt when Terry Rozier was also hurt. He had scored 30-plus points in 7 of 9 games. Again, that was up until LaMelo got hurt, and then Terry Rozier came back. Now he's got like the ultimate matchup against the Pistons, who are one of the worst defenses in the NBA at guarding point guards. Injuries or not, on the entire year, it's been consistent for the Pistons. They've given up the second most points per game, 2 point guards. And then if you want to look even deeper, if you according to Courtside Pal, which measures both their shooting and their scoring as 2 different stats, they gave up the second most points per game to someone of his scoring profile and the 7th most to someone of his shooting profile. Like Dame just hung 45 on them, not this past matchup, but the one before that. And he's just going to chuck it. Like the team's going nowhere. LaMelo Ball loves to shoot. He's going to put up 10 plus 3-pointers. So I love getting that for plus money.
LaMelo Ball, 30-plus points. Corey Moss, I don't think you can refer to the Pistons as the bad boys anymore. I mean, that ship is maybe like back in the 03-04 years, they brought it back a little bit with those teams, but these are definitely not the bad boys.
Bad boys isn't like they're just bad at basketball.
Yeah, they're boys and they're bad.
They're bad basketball players.
Yeah.
So, look, gun to my head, this is where I would go. Pistons minus 2.5, but actually – this would be my move here, and I didn't put this on the final ticket. What happened last night, I don't know if you saw my tweet. So these guys were here, and I was recording the video that I usually upload overnight. I got about 30 minutes into the recording. The power cut out for a couple minutes, and I lost everything. So I just said, fuck it, guys, go. It was like 10 o'clock already at night. I would have to start from scratch, so I just said, go home. The reason I bring that up, because at the time, this total was 235.5, and I was taking the under. So I would have looked like the man on YouTube, giving out under 235.5. Everyone wakes up, watches it's down to 231. Like I would have looked like the man, but lost a lot of value here. The reason I would go under is I just like the way both matchups, if you look at shot zones, both defenses should be somewhat well equipped to give the other offensive problems. Pistons shoot a lot of mid-range shots, and surprisingly, the Hornets don't play great defense, but actually against the mid-range shot, they got some pretty good-looking numbers there. I think it was like 2nd and 4th or something in the last 10 games. They've actually done a good job against the mid-range shot, which the Pistons shoot a lot of. Also, both of these teams much better rebounding teams on the defensive side. So there shouldn't be many second-chance points for either side because both teams do a lot better job defensively rebounding than offensively. The only thing that could screw this up is the Pistons' pace. They do like to push the tempo at times. Hornets, not so much. So the LaMelo Ball pushing the floor and the Pistons running the fast break, that would be what would bust this. I didn't bet it yet, but this is the way I would go here. Hornets win the poll. Shipley is crushed because Pistons is not even going to be in the poll for parlay of the day. Hornets win.
No.
42%, 38%. So there is a lot of you out there betting Detroit. But unfortunately, Charlotte wins the poll. Yeah, I mean, that guy, Daily Struggle Channel, said that yesterday, too. I went 8-4. Some people are just very upset in their lives. Next up, Minnesota on the road at Washington. We got an 11-point line here. T-Wolves laying a big number on the road, and I have some angles I like in this one, but I'll let these guys go first. I think Prop Fever is on the same page as me because I remember I said the parlay that I liked in this one, and you were like, "You stole my parlay, right? Isn't that this game?"
Yeah, but it was too expensive, right?
I did put one down. I'll pull it up on the screen in a minute. You know what? Actually, since we're talking about it, let's pull it up now. Yeah. I have a screenshot of it somewhere. Hold on. 1 second. It's high risk. I think this is it here. Yep. So this is what I put down. It's a plus 430. It's Minnesota first half, minus 6.5. Minnesota full game, minus 11. And Rudy Gobert, 30-plus points in rebound. So super high risk here. But basically, I like Minnesota in the spot, specifically because they're coming off an ugly, ugly loss. They just got beat by the Hornets. And this game tonight is the first game of a 4-game road trip. I think it's 4, might be 5. It's the first game of a road trip. Minnesota does not want to start this road trip with back-to-back bad performances against bad teams. You lose to the Hornets. You do not want to start this road trip struggling with the Wizards. I think they put them to bed early here, and I think they beat up on them. And matchup-wise, the reason I like Gobert and put that 30-plus in there, he hasn't hit that total that much. It's not like, oh, he always goes over that. He doesn't. But Rudy Gobert, on paper is an absolute nightmare matchup for the Washington Wizards defensively. Some things the Wizards struggle with: fouling. They send people to the foul line at a high rate, one of the worst in the NBA. Rudy Gobert draws fouls at the highest rate on Minnesota Timberwolves by far. They also struggle to protect the rim. Where does Rudy Gobert obviously take all his shots? At the rim. They struggled in the defensive rebounding. Obviously, Rudy Gobert, a great rebounder. So Rudy Gobert on paper, just a difficult matchup for him. Same goes for Karl Anthony Towns too, by the way. So I go Minnesota. The only bet I actually placed was that parlay, which is high risk though. But this is definitely the way I'd go here.
I'm just gonna preface. I would need Mike Conley to be playing to lay these many points on the road. But yeah, I'm with Minnesota -11 on the spread. Coming off a devastating home loss as a massive favorite, you have one of your stars drop 62 points. I mean, the coach was ripping them to shreds after that game, and I think they're going to come into this one pretty fired up. I know they're not as powerful on the road, but I don't know if you've seen this Washington team at home. Jesus H. Christ, they are a fucking embarrassment. So I think that doesn't really matter in this case. And in terms of the matchups, like, it's just too good. As you were saying, like, this is a Washington team that just can't protect the rim. 27th in rim frequency, 22nd in rim efficiency, your last 10 games. Minnesota's 3rd in rim frequency. And then on top of that, they're going to be able to draw fouls at a high rate because Minnesota's top 10 in free throw rate and Washington's bottom 20. And I just simply don't see a way where they're going to be able to keep the T-Wolves off the scoreboard here. The one thing I will give Washington is that they create a lot of turnovers, and the T-Wolves have turned the ball over at a high rate. But, like, the offensive rebounding percentage and the free throw rate on the other side for the Wizards offense are just horrendous too in this matchup. This is a Wizards team that is 1st in the NBA in rim frequency over the last 10 games. Well, now they got to go at Rudy Gobert. So it's just like, there's no way I can back Washington here, especially with how bad they've been at home. They have 0 home court advantage. The team sucks. Wes Unseld should be fired into the moon. So here we go.
And to respond to Corey Moss, who, this is a good comment and it is worth being mentioned. The Wizards have won 7 straight against Minnesota, so the Wizards have been a little bit of a thorn in the T-Wolves side. But I think we can all agree that they haven't played this season. And I think we can all agree that this year's Minnesota Timberwolves team is just a little bit different than teams of the past. I mean, Anthony Edwards just developed. But, I mean, they played last year, and they had Gobert last year.
I'm talking about the Wizards. There's no Bradley Beal anymore. There's no
Porzingis my bad.
There's no John Wall anymore. Like, those teams are gone. We got Kuzma out here and Jordan Poole, who's shooting the ball 3 times a night on 12% efficiency.
Yeah, the Wizards team also much different than Wizards teams of the past. Yeah, I agree. Matt?
Yeah, so I took another pumped up prop. I took Anthony Edwards 30+ points. Last I checked, best offered at Bet Rivers at +114. I totally get the Rudy Gobert angle and the Karl Anthony Towns one as well. I couldn't back Towns after last game. Like, they fed him the ball and lost because of it. So I don't think that that's going to happen today. Like, Anthony Edwards only attempted 11 shots in that game on Monday, and I was on his points. So I was very aware of how little he shot trying to get the ball to Karl Anthony Towns. But in the past 2 games, Edwards has attempted 10 and 11 field goal attempts. Like, most games he's getting 20+, and sometimes he's gotten all the way up to 28. And as you mentioned, the Sixers are a joke in the paint. That could be Rudy Gobert, but he's not like a guy that you just give the ball in the post and let him just go to work. He's not like a Jokic or an Embiid. So another way Rudy Gobert is going to get a ton of second chance points for sure. But another way this could go down is Anthony Edwards just having no resistance at all, just getting into the paint and scoring at the rim. Yeah. So that's where I'm going. That's where I'm going with this one. The thing with the Wizards, it's like an all-you-can-eat buffet and how you want to target them. So someone's going to put up cartoonish stats. It's sometimes difficult to figure out who it is. But so I'll just call my shot that it's going to be Ant after 2 slow games in a row.
And by the way, I talked about how the Wizards defense has a bad matchup here against Gobert and Minnesota and their size. But on the other side of the ball, it's the same thing. By the way, the Wizards attack the rim a lot. They're actually 1st in rim frequency in it's either the last 10 games or full season. That's playing right into the strength of the T-Wolves. What do the T-Wolves do at an elite level? Protect the basket. And you got a Wizards team that likes to attack the rim against Minnesota. And also another thing Minnesota does really well, they push the tempo. They run the fast break a lot. Minnesota plays great defense in transition as well. I mean, look, I get how, like, 11 points at home with a team that's been secretly covering. I get how you could like the Wizards here. For real. Like, spot-wise, oh, yeah, blindly take the Wizards. But on paper, this is, like, the worst team in the league for the Wizards to see based on their play styles, in my opinion. So 53-31, 53% 31% communities leaning towards Minnesota. Seems like we're all kind of leaning towards Minnesota. Me and Prop Beaver, and it seems like Matt Modi's also would go that way too. Let's move on to the next game. Memphis on the road in Miami. This line's at 10.5 now, I believe. 10.5.
It's because Rozier is playing.
Oh, is he?
Is he confirmed
Yeah.
in? Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, his first game with a new team, he moves the line that much. It was at 9.5 last night.
Yeah, I mean, I don't give a damn.
Do you have a move for this one, Prop Beaver?
Yeah, I went with Jaren Jackson Jr. over 2.5 assists. That's at -135 on Bet365. We've recently had a lot of success taking high usage players' assist overs against this Miami Heat team because what they like to do defensively is take away that number one option, force the supplementary pieces to beat them. And it's very clear on this offense. I mean, just looking at the pieces, JJJ is the top dog. Spo is going to be targeting him, forcing the other guys to beat him. And over his last 6 games, he's been great passing the ball. He's got a 33.5 usage rate, extremely high. And during that span, we've seen him average 3.8 assists per game on 6.8 potential assists per game, hitting both 3+ and 5+ in 4 of those 6 games. 21 straight players with 28% plus usage and 25+ minutes have cashed 3+ assists versus Miami. So I'm playing on the usage. I'm playing on his new role, being more of a distributor with everybody out. And I think Memphis is actually going to be able to keep it competitive here. I know the low total is gross. I know blowout potential is gross, but it's not like I'm asking this guy to get 8 assists. I'm asking the guy to get 3 assists here. So at the price, I think it's worth the value.
What a boring bet. Jaren Jackson Jr. over assists. Like, come on. What a boring bet. I mean, I hope it is.
Supposed to bet.
You're supposed to bet the Memphis Grizzlies plus 10.5.
Oh, what a sick bet.
Do you see that segue?
Yo, it's fucking sick.
So Memphis plus 10.5. I am on the Grizzlies. Looks like Stephen Hairston on the Grizzlies as well with me. So yes, Sauce Network unofficial Heat beat writer S. Our Heat representative. He is confirming Terry Rozier is going to play, make his Heat debut. Doesn't move the needle for me. His first game with a new team. Not to mention, he's been playing on the Hornets all year. He hasn't been lighting it up. No, I mean, he's been playing well. That's unfair. Anyway, so Memphis, I'm getting 10.5 points. First of all, I know how when you first glance at this, it looks like a beautiful spot for the Heat. I mean, Miami coming off 3 straight losses at home against a really injured Memphis team. Like, I get it. But I mean, we're in two spots that I love to fade. I love to fade the Miami Heat at home, and I love to fade the Miami Heat laying anything more than 4.5 points because it's been very profitable. Miami Heat, when they're favored by 5 or more, have a terrible, terrible hit rate. So now we're all the way up at 10.5. Memphis is 10-6 against the spread in their last 16 on the road. So they've been low-key covering numbers on the road. And then you look at the matchup. Memphis attacks the rim a lot. That's Miami's weakness. Has been protected the basket. What do the Miami Heat like to do offensively? They like to shoot that short mid-range shot. Bam shoots a lot from there. Jimmy Butler, even Tyler Hero shoots a lot from there. Those like 8 to 12 footers in that zone, the short mid-range shot. Memphis, great defensive numbers against that. Obviously the Grizzlies are so hurt in the backcourt, but that front court is still Jaren Jackson Jr., who won the Defensive Player of the Year 2 years ago, and Tillman, who's really underrated. So this is still a really good front court. And we're talking about 10.5 points with a team that just usually doesn't cover big numbers. So, yeah, I'm definitely on Memphis here, plus 10.5. Matt?
Yes, this is one of my my dart throw high odd plays. Luke Kennard, 5+ made 3-pointers. He's been playing a lot because they don't have any guards. Like in the last 5 games, he's averaging over 32 minutes per game. If you compare that to any other time frame this year, he's like on the year he's averaging like 25-26 minutes per game, and he's just been shooting the ball a ton. Like last game he put up 13 3-pointers against the Raptors, and he did make 5. And the Heat are very good interior defense, but they will let guards shoot. Like they allow the 4th most made 3-pointers to shooting guards. Props.cash says that the Heat are the best matchup you want to target for shooting guard at 3-point props. he has been like on fire from deep recently. So that honestly makes me more nervous than anything because you know that the other side is going to come eventually. So obviously unit size responsibly, but for a dart throw, like plus 220, he's going to shoot a lot. That's kind of where I went there.
And to play out to what I just said, above the break threes, Miami Heat opponents shoot a lot of them, just frequency, 30%. On the season, 30% of Miami Heat's opponents of their field goal attempts have come from above the break threes, where Kennard shoots a ton of those. So I don't know if it's the kind of defense they play or how it results in that, but a lot of above the break 3-point attempts get shot on the Heat. So our poll leaning Memphis pretty heavy here, 53%, 31% in favor of the Grizzlies. Prop Beaver, someone asked the origins of the name.
Yeah,
Prop
I know.
Beaver.
They want to know the Beaver lore. I don't know.
The Beaver lore.
Yeah. I think we're dropping that for our thousandth episode.
Oh, 1000th episode? Lore. Are we even close to that? Do you even know what episode we're on?
I was going to say, we might be past 1,000.
Drop that at 100K subscribers.
100K subscribers, yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be over the summer. All right, Cavs at Bucks. Matt, you've been going last every time. Do you want to start this one off?
Yeah, sure. So as I do, another pumped up prop here, Donovan Mitchell, 35 plus points, best offered plus 180 at FanDuel. It's a high number, but we all know how much that Mitchell shoots. Garland's still injured. It's not hard to do the math for him to get to 35 or more points. Like he's attempting over 10 3-pointers per game. Last time he played the Bucks in 26 minutes, he scored 31 points, and that game was a blowout from the jump. Like that's why he only played 26 minutes. I'm not a believer in Doc Rivers. I don't even think he's coaching tonight. I know it's Joe Prunty, but at least their head coach fired. It's like in NFL, you get the fired head coach bump. The Bucks are at least going to play a little bit harder tonight. And so I don't think it's going to be a total blowout from the jump. And you want to target your guards against the Bucks. That you just do. Like it's how they play their drop coverage defense and pick and roll with Brook Lopez and then Dame Lillard as one of their guards. It's just such a juicy matchup for someone like Mitchell who fire away from anywhere, basically. Like I said, last time he scored 31 points in 26 minutes. And this does date back to last year, but he scored 30 or more points in each of the last 3 games against the Bucks. This year, he scored 34 and 31. So he hasn't gotten to the 35 number, but he's been close. And yeah, so I hope this game stays somewhat close in either direction, and Spida can get us to 35.
35 plus and plus 180. Prop Beaver?
Yeah, for this game, I just simply have to go with the Cavs here. This Bucks team is heinously not profitable as of lately. 1-10 against the spread the last 11
That's
games.
gross. 1-10 against the spread in the last 11 is disgusting.
And now they're facing a Cavs team that's 7-1 against the spread their last 8 games. 7-3 against spread their last 10 against Milwaukee. Now, the tricky thing is that despite being 7-3 in their last 10 overall against Milwaukee, they're 2-8 against spread in their last 10 at Milwaukee.
That's the money right there.
That is true. Now, they haven't been as potent there, but I like the matchup too much for them to not even take the 7 points here. I mean, Cavs have been living off the free ball with Garland and Mobley out. They got Sam Merrill popping off every single night. They're third above the break 3-pointer frequency over the last 10 games. And while the Bucks were pretty good at limiting the 3-ball for like a good portion of the season, the last 10 games are 23rd above the break frequency and 29th in efficiency. They're allowing the third most above the break 3-pointers made during that span. And just looking at it, if you're looking at the trajectory of the Cleveland offense and the trajectory of the Milwaukee defense in terms of efficiency, Cleveland keeps getting better and better. Milwaukee keeps getting worse and worse. Now, will I think that will change with Doc Rivers as head coach? Yes, but I also think that's going to take some time to implement. I'm just not seeing many things I like for this Bucks team, especially because the Cavs are pretty good in transition to an area where Milwaukee's thrive. So I'm going to take the points with the Cavs.
The correct answer.
Some of these comments are on him.
I know that last one had me laughing. I was trying to like.
What was the last one?
Thomas or Zorzoli or whatever. Anyway, so the move here is the Milwaukee Bucks, and Prop Beaver casually just like briefly hit on a huge point, and then just like skated past it like he didn't say anything.
Yeah, you don't know ball.
In this rivalry, if you have blindly just taken the Bucks in Milwaukee and the Cavs in Cleveland, I mean, the Cavs always beat the Bucks in Cleveland. The Bucks always beat the Cavs in Milwaukee. Milwaukee's 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 at home against the Cavs. The Cavs are, I think it's 5-1 or 6-1 in their last 6 or 7 against the spread at home against the Bucks. These are division rivals, and that's how this goes down. it's in Milwaukee, bet the Bucks. If it's in Cleveland, you bet the Cavs. Now, obviously, the Cavs have won 8 games in a row and are red hot. I get that. But there's something to be said about the fired coach and the drama. I feel like this is a huge game for Milwaukee. With all the bullshit that went down, Giannis is getting some bad attention, saying like the coach left because he lost faith in him or whatever, or who knows what really went down. But the narratives spinning off of it are crazy. I think the Bucks have this one circled as far as we need to make a statement tonight, and I think they beat the shit out of Cleveland. I think they blow them out. So yeah, I'm on the Bucks here. I didn't like bet the shit out of it, but the line being at 6.5 is a statement in itself. Like Prop said, they're 1-10 against the spread in their last 11, and they're laying 6.5 points against a team that's won 8 in a row. So odds makers seem to agree with us too. I am on the Bucks, and it looks like Corey Moss and Stephen Hairston both with me. Community isn't. Community's on the Cavs though. So we guys, we're on a little bit of a Bucks island. Me, Corey Moss, Stephen Hairston on a Bucks island. 54%, 38% in favor of Cleveland. Portland at Houston. Clear the picks. This one's at 10.5. I'll go first here because I only have a couple sentences to say here. Rockets minus 10.5. What's the total at 221? Under 221.5. All right, so you know what? I actually have a graphic to bring up for this one. It's called. One second. Here it is. Okay, so I know the Houston Rockets have been taking some losses lately, but I want you to look at their recent schedule here. Because right now we have a home game for Houston against a bad team in Portland. And I want you to look at the recent schedule. Now, obviously, this is kind of ascending here. So look at the bottom first. You got a 6-game road trip here at New York, at Philly, at Boston, Detroit. They won that one. At Chicago, at Miami. All right, so a tough little road trip. They come back home. They get Utah, Boston. Before that, at home, Milwaukee, Minnesota. I mean, this Houston team has not caught a break schedule-wise. Look what happened in early January when they had some easy games against bad teams at home. They handled their shit. Man, I mean, they beat the shit out of the Pistons. They beat the shit out. Well, they won by 11. They beat up on the Nets, beat them comfortably. To me, when you look at this spot for the Rockets, it looks like this team hasn't had an opportunity to play a good basketball game in 3 weeks, and finally they have one against a Portland team that's on a back-to-back that really gave it all they had last night. They probably should have beat Oklahoma City last night. That was the best fastball for Portland last night. So to follow that up, going to Houston. Against a Rockets team that really needs the schedule they just went through, this Rockets team could really use like a 129-101 win, like a statement in front of the home fans, like, yo, guys, we still are optimistic about this year. It's just a rough stretch of schedule. So yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't even put my graphic up. I'm sorry. I would go here. I didn't bet this one yet, but I kind of like it. I think the Rockets win in blowout fashion, but I didn't bet it. So maybe I will, maybe I won't, but that's definitely, I wouldn't take the 10.5 with Portland here. And I like Portland. I've been on them several times this year, but I don't like the spot for them here. Prop Beaver?
Yeah, I would have to agree with you here. Don't really exactly love this game. But if we're just looking at some trends, Portland 1-8 against spread their last 9 road games. It's an ugly scene for those fellas. They do have some good history against the Rockets, 9-4 against the spreads their last 13 against Houston. They've covered 5 straight at Houston, but that was with Dame Time. Dame Time is not here to save Portland. And I don't really love the matchup for them, as you kind of saying. The Blazers are a team that love attacking the rim, 5th in frequency the last 10 games, and the Rockets lone positive defensively as of late, protecting the rim, 3rd in frequency and 10th in efficiency last 10 games. And I think the Rockets are going to have a pretty easy time scoring in this one. The Blazers defensively are horrendous in terms of defensive free throw rate. Rockets are pretty good. Rockets like to attack the rim. Portland's horrendous at defending the rim. And the Rockets are 8th in above the break 3-pointer frequency over the last 10 games. If you were listening to the channel earlier in the season, Portland was awesome at defending the 3 ball, but all of a sudden, I don't know what the hell has happened. This team can't defend from any area of the floor anymore. Even the 3 ball defense.
Even the 3 ball. Like, where did that go? A month ago, they were like awesome against the 3.
Yeah, I mean, I think this team has really packed it in already. And it's not even All-Star break yet, which is pretty impressive.
I wonder if Shadon Sharp being out is just that huge of a. I don't even know. Is he a great defender?
Let me tell you, no, he has fucking sucked this season. If anything, they'd be worse with him on the court with how he's been playing this season. So no, that's not the case. Shadon's not the savior here. I'm gonna lay the 10.5.
All right, Proppy, we're making some against the spread picks here. Matt?
Yeah. It's funny enough. I also took the Rockets, so I got them at -9.5 earlier today. I guess it changed to now it's 10.5. You said everything that I was going to say. Look at the recent schedule, and you understand why they're 3-7. They've also consistently been better at home than on the road. That's been something that's been the case all year. Like they're 16-7 at home, and they're 4-15 on the road. They're also 14, 6-1 against the spread at home. So not only they're winning, but they're covering. Bad teams that last year that start the year hot are always going to be good against the spread. So, yeah, I mean, you said it best. I'm on the Rockets mostly just a spot play because of the spot for Portland is so brutal. Like losing that game against the Thunder and then Chauncey Billups losing his mind and then having to travel to Houston. Yeah, it's a terrible spot for an already bad team. So that's why I'm on Houston.
Agreed. As you guys would guess, Rockets won the poll. But it's actually a lot of people like the Blazers plus 10.5. Maybe a lot of people like what they saw last night. I mean, they did put up a good fight. And this Portland team can be pesky at times. I just hate the spot. Just like Matt said, I hate the spot for them. 48%, 31% in favor of Houston. Let's clear the picks. Move on to game number 6. We got 3 more games left. And here's the one that everyone's talking about. Phoenix at Dallas. Obviously, this is a cool little rivalry that's developed. Luka and Devin Booker. Too bad I don't even like either of them. I wish I had one of the guys I like. I find them both kind of annoying. I wish I had a side. I would like to be on a side of that rivalry. I'm not. So it's Suns -2.5. Mavericks +2.5. Over 240.5. Under 240.5. Oh, you know what? Before we get started on this one, I want to bring something up here because this is important. This is Phoenix first, but Phoenix just has Eric Gordon. I finally got these graphics working, by the way, the injury graphics. So this is what I wanted to bring up. Luka, Kyrie, both questionable, which is obviously huge. Now, let me check to see nothing's updated in the last few minutes. Yeah, they're both still questionable. But Exum here, Dante Exum listed as questionable. That's a positive because he's been out. So he might be returning. So that's a positive for Dallas. But Luka, Kyrie being questionable obviously makes it really tough for us to make final decisions right now. But I can tell you I am on Dallas. Dallas freaking Mavericks after they butchered me the other night. Oh, my God. I was so mad at the Mavericks the other night. They missed so many wide open shots. And all right, so my reasoning for this is pretty simple. And in fact, you guys probably already know what I'm going to say. It's pretty straightforward. For one, Dallas has owned this rivalry. They're 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 against Phoenix. So yeah, this is a rivalry, but it's been pretty one-sided. Luka has gotten the best of Booker, without a doubt. I didn't mean to stop. I didn't mean to say Booker. Luka is, like I said, 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 against Suns. So Dallas has definitely been winning this rivalry. Not to mention, look at the spot. You got the Dallas Mavericks on a little bit of a slide here, where they lost 3 of their last 5. Phoenix is on a 6-game winning streak, so it's like vibes are high on one side, vibes are low on the other side, which is a perfect, what better spot for a momentum changer than a home game against your rival. That's a wake-up spot. But also, the Dallas schedule has been brutal. In the last 10 games, the Dallas Mavericks have the second strongest schedule in the NBA, so they've been through a real tough stretch here. And then matchup-wise, I mean, this story tells itself. You got the Dallas Mavericks who play good defense against jump shooters. It's kind of like a misconception that the Mavericks don't have a defense. They suck at protecting the rim. They actually play good defense against jump shooters. They got great-looking numbers against the mid-range shot, solid numbers against a three-point shot, not elite. That's the Suns. I mean, the Suns don't attack the basket. Look at all their main scorers. Durant, Beal, Booker. I mean, they love to shoot that mid-range shot. They're jump shooters. So Dallas defensively, actually kind of a tough matchup for Phoenix. And then on the other side of the ball, what do the Mavs do? They launch, man. They're a bunch of 3-ball shooters, and that's the weakness of the Suns' defense. In the last 10 games, Suns are like 23rd and 28th against the above the break 3 and the corner 3. So maybe that's probably part of the reason Dallas has got the best of them, is because the way these teams are built, it's just a really good edge for Dallas. And then, like I said, Phoenix, they're just not only they won 6 in a row, but they've been skating by on a couple of them. Come back from down 20 to beat the Kings. Come back from down like 17 to win the other night. So yeah, I'm on Dallas. Now, obviously, if Luka and Kyrie don't play, I get screwed here. But I would imagine that they play. This is a huge game against a rival on ABC. I'm gonna guess they play. Prop Beaver?
You said every single thing I got regarding notes for this game.
I'm a thorough guy. Is this you,
yeah,
Luka
sure.
Doncic? Is this you or Matt's graphic?
No, that's Matt. I'm on the Mavericks. I do have a horse in the Booger versus Doncic race. I'm anti-Booger. I'm on Doncic. It pretty simple. I mean, Doncic is one of the GOATs. I don't care if Kyrie sits. If Kyrie sits, wait. What I would recommend doing is wait, see if Kyrie sits. If he does, cool. We'll catch more points. If not, great. We got Kyrie. So that's how I would play it. Definitely on the Mavs here.
Someone's saying the line moved in this one. Let me just check. I don't know if someone's just trolling. No, I'm still seeing +2, +2.5. Yeah, someone's trolling me. Anyway,
troll job.
We already know Matt's graphic because we got a glimpse of it. It's a Luka over.
Yeah, it's a Luka 35+. I was on the show on Monday. I took Luka's over. He came through. And this is probably square, but for the same reason you guys are on the Mavericks, I'm on Luka. He loves to steal the soul from the Suns. It's his favorite thing to do in the world. Ever since they made fun of him in that series a couple of years ago, it's like he relishes the opportunity to kill the Suns. He just hung 50 against them on Christmas, and he had 15 assists in that game. So it's not like they stopped him from doing anything. And it's aside from that, it's just a good matchup. Like like you kind of said it with the way the Suns play defense. Like they struggle with these types of guards like Luka, who can pull up and can play the pick and roll. It's the same drop coverage with Nurkic, who can't move at this point in his career. Like he's fine defending the rim, but if you put that guy out in space, he's going to tear every ligament in his body. The Suns give up the 4th most points per game to someone of Luka's scoring profile. Again, that makes sense exactly why. Luka has scored at least 30 in 9 of his last 10 games. He's gotten 35 in 5 of those. Now, he has missed 35 in 4 straight, but in those 4 games, he's got 34, 31, 33, 33. Like, he's gotten right around there. And if you ever are looking for a Luka blow-up game when it's been a couple, look at the schedule when he's playing the Suns. Like, to me, it all lines up perfectly. It might be a little bit square, but that's where I'm going.
Yeah. No, so it did drop to 2. The 2.5s aren't available, so that's what I mean. I'm only seeing 1.5 though. I'm seeing mostly at 2. But yep, our poll is 53%, 40% Dallas. So community is also riding the Mavs a little bit here. Next,
for what it's worth, I'm seeing 2.5 at -115 at MGM.
So you can still get a juice 2.5 out there.
I'll take 2.5. I'll lay 2.5. I'll lay 10.5. I don't give a fuck.
God,
the Dallas Mavericks are winning that ball game tonight.
Dude, you're making me less confident the more you talk about it.
No, because they're winning.
No. All right, it's Thunder -8.5, Spurs +8.5, over 242, under 242. And I'll go first because I have about 2 sentences. I'm just tailing somebody who's hot right now. The guy Steez in the Discord. He's been killing it, and he loves the Spurs. He's got the Spurs on the money line here. I am not really seeing the angle personally, but he's been in the Discord for a while. He's not just like a random guy. Like I've been following his bets. He's been hot, and he loves the Spurs tonight. So I'm tailing. It's kind of a mixed bag here. If it wins, I win some money. If it loses, I get to talk shit to him for all week. So this is his moment in the sun here. I'm tailing you, bro. I'm taking the Spurs. Obviously, you got the Thunder on a back-to-back in a game that came down to the wire last night. I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily a fade spot, though, because it's almost like last night could have been a wake-up call for him. So I don't know that would get me over to San Antonio. You could say the Spurs with Wemby have played decent defense at the rim at times. I don't know. I'm tailing somebody. I don't even want to try to like BS some angles because this one was a coin flip to me. Just tailing somebody.
Yeah, I'm gonna fade Steez. Low character man. No, mainly I'm just going to ride with OKC. The team's been phenomenal on 0 days rest thus far. First in offense efficiency, fourth in defense efficiency, first in net efficiency. This group of young kids, I mean, playing on the back-to-back isn't really a big deal to these guys. Most of them are 25 or younger. This is the Spurs' first game back home from a 5-game road trip. Usually a spot where I look to fade some guys. It's the first game of a 7-game homestand, so they're just settling in. And let's not forget the last time these two teams faced off, the Thunder beat them a blind. I mean, they beat the ever-loving shit out of this team. Sure, the Spurs have definitely been playing better basketball lately. There's truly no denying that. But most of that was against the Eastern Conference. Even if you look at some of their games against the West, just 2-4 against the spread in those contests. Yeah, I'm going to lay the points with OKC here. I think the matchup's working for them.
So you're fading Steez. And Steez is in the comments, by the way. That's him. Steez, Kloe. That's the guy.
Wow. This guy said I'm 5'4". That's just not true. Don't say that.
Oh, that's funny.
I guess this has got to be your play here, SGA, right?
Yeah, this is a lean. I haven't actually bet this myself. This would be a pass, but just because I wanted to give out something. If it wasn't for the spot, I would love the matchup. But the spot makes me nervous, which is why I'm just making it a lean. Like they did, I think the fact that they won last night, I'm not necessarily sure that they are going to wake up after having a bad game, and then it's like going to Portland and then traveling to San Antonio. But if you just look at the matchup and you take away the spot, it's a great matchup for SGA. Like the Spurs defense, they get crushed by guards who can pull up and shoot like SGA, even if it's not from 3, even if it's in the mid-range. And he's just such a talented scorer. Like the Spurs literally give up the most points per game to point guards in the entire NBA. So if this was a normal game and not if I like the spot, I probably would take him to 35 plus. But yeah, so this is more of a lean than anything I'm confident in.
I mean, overs against the Spurs has been a decent endeavor this year.
Yeah.
So our polls on OKC, though, 55%, 32%. So most of you are taking Oklahoma City out there. For us Spurs faithful, let's do it. One last game. Atlanta at Golden State. Kind of a tough game to handicap here because, like, who knows what Golden State's going to come out here and look like. I will say, last night, this is another one that I would have had some good value on had I got the video recorded because I was taking the Hawks at 7.5. I mean, not that closing line value always results in wins. In fact, recently it's resulted in losses. But yeah, oh shit. Let me end that poll. I put Warriors at 7.5. Let me fix that poll. So it's Hawks plus 6.5, Warriors minus 6.5, over 235.5, under 235.5. All right, now poll is running. Cast your votes, and I'm gonna go. Wow, looks like you guys got some props lined up for this one. I'm gonna go with the Atlanta Hawks for a number of reasons here. So this is partially playing the matchup and partially just fading what I believe is a super inflated line based on, I think there's a lot of people betting the Warriors like, oh, they've been off and they're going to come back emotional. Obviously, the assistant coach passed away, and who knows what that results in, though. Like, does that necessarily mean they come out and play excellent? I don't think anyone can say for sure. But this new the new Atlanta Hawks, let's call it, because about 3 weeks ago they switched their offense up. This is a bad matchup for Golden State. They've been attacking the rim a lot. In the last 10 games, Golden State Warriors, 29th against the short mid-range shot, 30th in efficiency at the rim. So Atlanta's offense plays right into the weakness, even without Trae Young. DeJounte Murray does that same high screen, drive to the lane, dump. Like, he does that same thing. Not a good matchup. Hawks should be able to score points on Golden State here. And this is straight from Prop Beaver's notes. I even copied and pasted what he said. Warriors, obviously, as we know, this dates back several years. They take a ton of above the break threes. Steph, Clay, they love shooting out there. Hawks defense, I know this is completely different than what the Hawks defense was doing a month and a half ago, but they've actually been playing decent defense out there in a sense that they're not allowing opponents to shoot. Just the third lowest amount of above the break 3-point shots attempts allowed in the last 10 games. So I think the Hawks defense is actually a good matchup here. Like I said, a lot of people betting Golden State. They think they're going to bounce back after the time off, and maybe that's true, maybe. But I think some people might be forgetting how bad Golden State looked before this happened. just 3-8 in their last 11 games. So we're talking about laying 6.5, 7 points here. This is kind of crazy. I mean, you know what it feels like? And I know completely different situations, but it feels like the Hawks at Miami game when everyone was like, how are you going to take the Hawks Adonis Haslam retirement night? Here we are, and I feel like people have that same kind of attitude. Obviously, it's a little different. Someone passed away, but like, how are you not going to take the Warriors? I feel like it's the same type of attitude. Like, how are you not going to take the Warriors after that? When it's like, well, I'm not basing it on that. I'm basing it on the numbers where 6.5 is too many points. So I'll take the Hawks. It's not one of my favorites. I know betting the Hawks sucks. It's not something I want to make a habit of, but I just think this number's inflated.
Yeah, so last night I locked in DeJounte Murray over 6.5 assists at plus 105. That has been nuked to 7.5 minus 125. So what I decided to do is I decided to go with over 13.5 rebounds plus assist at minus 105. Still think there's a lot of value there. He's cashed 3 straight DeJounte Murray. He's cashed 7 of 11 without Trae Young going back to last season. And he's cashed 5 straight against his Warriors team, including twice last season, even with Trae Young in the lineup. The last time out that we had bet DeJounte, at least I gave it out on the show, he had 6 assists against the Kings. And I know a lot of people were on it that day too. That fucking sucked. But he had 18 potential assists in that game. He's averaging around 17 potential assists without Trae Young this season. And that is really, that would be 3rd highest amongst the league this season. Now facing a Warriors defense over the last 5 games, they've allowed the most assists per game in the NBA, with 8 players hitting 7+ assists in that 5-game span. Is it possible that the Warriors go ballistic and they blow out Atlanta in honor of their late assistant coach? Yes, but I also think it serves as a bit of a distraction. I mean, that's very emotional. Now you got to go out on the court, kind of act like things are okay, yada, yada, yada. And they also might be a bit rusty. So, yeah, I think that's the best plan here.
And I just said in a comment, I just typed it, I feel like all these comments are kind of confirming my suspicion that everyone is doing the same thing. Like, how are you going to, the Warriors are going to blow them out? Everyone's thinking that. And which is exactly why this line is 6.5. And as opposed to like 3 is probably where it should be. I mean, Golden State was 3-8 in their last 11 with some ugly dude. They almost got beat by the Pistons at home, and the Pistons were hurt. Like, they almost got beat at home by an injured Pistons team. Like, Golden State was really struggling before, and I feel like everyone kind of forgot that. Matt?
Yeah, prop beaver stole basically 99% of my notes. I took DeJounte Murray. I took him 10+ assists. I also locked him in earlier today. I got over 7.5 at plus 120. That got nuked. To me, the best value is to just take a super inflated line, 10+ at plus 260. You said everything I said. He had 18 potential assists, only 6 actual assists. But on that same night, Luka had 17 potential assists and 13 actual. Both of those are a little bit outliers, and more likely than not, they probably should end around 10. You said he averages 17 potential assists. That would be the 3rd highest in the NBA. The only thing that I'll add that you didn't say is that his teammates shot 1 of 12 from 3 off of passes from DeJounte Murray. So I feel like everybody was on his assists on Monday, and then because he didn't hit, everybody's like, well, I'm not going to touch that again. Where to me, it feels like a smash spot for him tonight. So that's why I like the 10+ at plus 260.
Wow, you guys on Murray overs, and I'm on the Hawks. So our final poll, 56%, 30% towards the Warriors. So, yeah, the Golden State, everyone's betting Golden State tonight. I mean, I get it. Am I going to be surprised if Golden State comes out and just beats the hell out of them? No, I'm not going to be surprised.
That'd be on par for my recent trajectory. So,
all right. By the way, community parlay. We're on a 1-game winning streak. Community hit last night for plus 414, too. So it wasn't even like a super plus 414. How about that? How about that? Let's go for 2 in a row.
Oh, I want one of our parlays these days to be minus odds.
I don't, bro. We'll look like such morons. Like if someone who's never watched the show before is like, are these guys really giving out 4 like parlays? Like
community parlay minus 260. That'd be sick.
Nuclear whale lock of the century.
Like, wait, why these guys are giving out a minus 180 4-leg parlay?
Well, there's like discords that do that. They'll like put together minus.
Oh, I know. I would hope
the paywall and be like, yo, all right, bet 18 units on this. Like,
I would hope that our show isn't quite branded like that. That's I hope so. No, I think we do a better job than that.
Not with high class individuals like me and Scoop on here.
Yeah. I do have let me pull up while you guys are voting real quick. Let me put up the college basketball slate because we almost did a college basketball video. I have a couple angles I like here. No, where are the games I like? Oh, I like Alabama at home against Auburn. I know it's number 8 against an unranked team, but Auburn's big edge there. I'm not even going to go through the notes. Auburn's big edge is defense, but Alabama's defense at home is on par with that. So I think that wipes it out. I like Alabama minus the 2 or the 2.5. What's good? The first leg of the community parlay is the T-Wolves, by the way. And second place is Cavs. So if you voted Cavs, you'll get another chance to vote on them. 4 plus 411. That's what it was. So T-Wolves money line makes it. So we're starting off with a huge favorite. Prop Beaver might get his wish tonight.
Good start, guys. Let's get the Heat in there.
No, Heat didn't get. No, the Heat lost the poll. Grizzlies were in there. So Blazers Rockets was Rockets money line. You want that one in there, Prop Beaver?
Oh, need it, guys. Come on.
Mavericks money line would be a dog though. Spurs money line won the poll, and then Warriors money line definitely won. All right.
This is gonna be Rockets.
I think Rockets
Come on, give me the Rockets, fellas.
But a lot of people voted for Cleveland, which is they're a big dog, plus 6.5, plus 7. So I think Cleveland might get in on the second place poll. And the Mavericks, I think it's probably going to be. Oh wait, no, Warriors are getting some bets here. Golden State might sneak in. All right. Rockets, definitely. So Rockets are the second one in there. So 2 big favorites to start, but I think we're going to finish it out with some dogs here. So
Come on, keep it pricey.
The second place, the other teams that got votes. Cavs got votes. Hornets got votes. So that's 2 dogs. Mavericks got votes. That's another dog. And then Warriors is a favorite. So at least one dog has to go in because the top 2 finishers of this poll finish it out.
Bullshit, man.
All right, let's see what finishes the community. Oh, let me go back to the college basketball. So yeah, I like Alabama. I like Villanova. I think they win outright as a dog. They were catching 3.5 before. I think Villanova beats the Johnnies. Some people. What about DePaul? I don't know if you guys aren't college basketball guys, but you got DePaul coming off firing their coach against Marquette, who's been underachieving. It might be a sneaky spot.
I'm all in on the fired coach angle. So that's cross.
They're terrible. They are terrible, and they fired their coach, and they're home against a Marquette team that's ranked. But they've definitely underperformed and have not shown up before. So it wouldn't be crazy. I think DePaul plus what's the line in that one, Andy? 16? DePaul plus 16?
16.
I might play that.
Is that Shaka Smart? Is he still with Marquette?
Shaka Smart still there at Marquette? Yeah. All right. Let's give it another 5 seconds because there's a tie here. 17.5 is the updated line. DePaul plus 17.5. Let's do it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. End poll. And waiting for the results to pop up. Come on now. I don't know why it's taking so long. I guess it was a close one. And Doug Lane, yeah, DePaul has looked terrible, but they just fired their coach. Cavs and Mavericks, 2 dogs. Warriors do not make it. Cavaliers money line, Mavericks money line. Anyone have a sportsbook open?
Yeah, I do. It's plus 822.
What?
Yeah, fuck that.
Plus 822. We got a home run swing for the community today. T-Wolves money line, Rockets money line, Cavs money line. That's going to lose, though, because the Bucks are going to blow them out. And Mavericks money line. I'm on board with 3 of the 4, so maybe I'll take a loss and the Cavs will win for the community. T-Wolves, Rockets, Cavs, Mavericks for plus 822. Thanks, as always, for watching, and make sure you give Matt Modi a follow on Twitter. And also, he does a YouTube show similar to what I do. So if you like the videos I upload, his is really similar. He does prop bets, but it's the same thing. He goes through each game and gives his lean. So His channel stick catching traffic too.
Yeah,
I remember
it's good stuff.
I remember when he first reached out on Twitter, he was getting like 50 views, and he was just like asking us like, when do you upload? Just like basic questions. Some of his views are getting like 1,500, 2K. Like he's got a little following brewing over there.
Some of the NFL stuff with the search volume, if you can find one that hits the algorithm, it just blows up.
Yeah, and it obviously the consistency is the key. You can't take extended. You can't be like, I'm not gonna upload this week. Like you can't miss chunks. That's huge. If I took a week off, and then tried to come back, my view counts would go from 20K to like 13, and I'd have to build back up.
Yeah, Vacations are always tough.
All right. Oh, what's his channel? Someone just asked, what's your channel?
You can find it on Twitter. It's just Jedi Modi Sports Network. It's where you see my
see under his name Modi right there. Just type that into YouTube, Jedi Modi, and it'll come up.
And make sure to leave comments. He loves them.
Yeah, make sure to leave extremely angry, disrespectful comments.
Only if you're trolling. Those are my favorite comments.
All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Make sure you bet responsibly tonight. We'll be back tomorrow. Probably do a college basketball NBA mix tomorrow for Thursday. We'll talk to you soon. Let's have a good night.